Hi, my name is Josh, and I am in the San Francisco office as a second-year consultant. I actually started in the Dallas office as an ACI way back in 2008. I came from an engineering background in my undergrad, did chemical engineering, did an internship there within engineering, and then decided, let me try consulting. It's something I had heard about and seemed really interesting from all my friends that were doing it. I chose Bain because of really the interactions I had with the recruiting team during the career fairs that we had, and just the people that I talked to throughout the process and did like sample case interviews with and such. I just got a really good vibe and thought that it could be a good place for me. My favorite case was a recent one that we did within the entertainment industry. This was a client who was participating in putting on things for sports and for live events and such. And the reason that this was my favorite case is we went into the company, we had direct access to the CEO, and there were really a lot of industry changes going on. And I had the feeling that this was really the most important problem that the CEO was working on. It was really interesting also just to learn about an industry that I participate in these sorts of things as a consumer, and then you get to peel back and learn about the actually really interesting industry dynamics that underlie that you would never see like when you're going to live events and such. My work stream was really on understanding the customers of our client and really their wants and needs going forward, especially as different offerings were being put into the market, really understanding like what were their pain points and what solutions could our client provide that would best match up against those pain points. So it involved a lot of customer interviews and then some like economic modeling to really figure out what would be most impactful. The end result was that we arrived at a pretty clear strategic recommendation and basically what the financial impact would be for that. It was interesting then to like see after the case ended, looking at the client website, starting to see them implement like bits and pieces of the recommendation that we had recommended. What has surprised me is I've done a couple of projects in industries that I knew absolutely nothing about, and that looked boring and not very deep on the face of it. So one example was I did a private equity diligence, and we were looking at the market for the little paper tags that you put onto clothing items, which seems like a very simple thing, and you wouldn't expect that there would be any complexity really behind that industry. But we started looking into it and seeing who all the industry players were and all the industry dynamics and all the new technologies that people were thinking about adopting for just putting these paper tags onto like pieces of clothing. The one tip I would give recruits is just to talk to the people at the companies that you want to go to. You can look at company websites and you can do research, but it really doesn't give you a great feeling for what it's like to work at those companies. And so just talking to alumni, either alumni from your school or just people at the career fair or whatnot, for me was the best way to really assess whether it would be a good fit for me.